Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to put three models to the test. Gemini 3, Google's latest state-of-the-art model, GPT 5.1 and Grok 4.1. All three are major upgrades to every model out there. We're going to see which one actually stands to win. Let's get started. First task is already under the way. I'm going to give them a simple task to build a beautiful website in HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and let's see what comes out. I'm hoping technically all three of them will perform very well, but also wants to see what does not look like AI slop and actually looks like a beautiful website. Let's see, it's already on the way. I think again, if you see, Grok is already written a ton of it, and you can also see the amount of time being spent, right? So Gemini is right now around at 30 seconds to create this, roughly around the same time here. Let's see, I'm super excited to see what comes out, and we are comparing them in temporary charts, so they have no knowledge of who I am, they have no information about me. So this is a very real test. There is nothing that can technically harm their results in any format. So let's see. It's probably again, I think again, just ton of time, again, it's a pretty simple prompt, but again, everyone is taking around a minute, which is crazy. So let's see. Okay, Gemini is done. So first is Gemini. Let's see what comes up here. So I'm going to show this here. Okay, comes with problem solving core competencies and everything else. I can even do one quick thing is download the website and just show this here. Honestly, pretty good. Oh my god, I love this. I love this beautiful animation. You can see I am moving it and everything in the background moves. This is pretty cool. I love the colors. I love, honestly, the best thing is someone needs to beat this background. Let's see who does that. Okay, so we have Grok mostly being done here. Let's see what Grok comes with. Okay, Alex Liberia, building the future with AI. Honestly, this is not good at all compared to Gemini. This is not good at all. Grok is not performing well. Again, I am surprised. I really thought it would be really good. It's basic, it's very basic. It would be again, it's not something super cool. This background, it's super cool, just super cool. ChatGPT. So let's come here. It took the longest, roughly around 2 more minutes compared to everything else, but the result is not bad. It added a lot of text. It really input a lot of text and really wanted to make this real. Compared to if you see here on what Grok has and what Gemini has, Gemini put in the bare minimum, but the design was obviously off the charts. But ChatGPT again kind of tried to create I don't know, a website, but it is too text heavy. So if I'm being honest, I can't disregard just the amount of good amount of really good information put in, but also that it is not a website that technically makes sense to be shipped. So this one completely goes to Gemini for sure, completely hands down, because you can't use this as a production level website. You can't use this also, but this is at least a good starting point. I can at least use the hero section and build on top of it. So pretty well done on Gemini there. So the next task is going to be something that we all do. I'm going to give it a PDF and ask it to synthesize the 5 bullet point summary about it. This PDF is actually one of the most famous PDFs in the world, which is technically about the MIT report, which says that 95% of the AI projects fail. So I want to see what it actually comes out. Honestly, I love the speed that Grok really came back with, and ChatGPT is done, and I think again, just because I'm using AI Studio, so I will not hold the speed across it. But let's see what does the summary look like. I really want to see if any one of them picked up that 5% of the whole things pull out or anything like that. Strategic AI leadership and again, strategic integration, AI strategy, generative AI productivity. The main enterprise payoff is good. Again, honestly, I still feel it's pretty close to each other. Again, I still believe I prefer Gemini's response a bit more because it's a bit more number driven compared to just jargon and just basic data. If you just look at it, there is couple of points, but here they have tried to input a point everywhere, at least in the most places possible compared to everyone else. So I believe that is one thing that stands out to me, right? But I will still give again, not to be favorish here, I'm going to give Gemini a 0.5 and others also get a 0.25 on the answer, just because Gemini used a bit more data, and I'm pretty sure I can ask it give me 5 core data points, and if I just give the same input to everyone and let's see what happens there. Okay, so if I ask everyone to give 5 core data points, So 82% of C-suite leaders and up to 40% productivity, 19 percentage point, 38% of the workforce will require fundamental retraining and everything else. If you're watching this video, you are actually learning about AI. So if you want to keep learning, go ahead and subscribe that button. But I think, like, again here, I still believe right now I like Grok's response more compared to ChatGPT. Like GPT does not score anything here. Like compared to the quality of response, 110% Grok with, like, the 5 core data points. Let's see. Okay, I still prefer, like, again, somewhere along the way, I would prefer Grok and Gemini more. So I'm going to get rid of GPT's all points, and half points go to Grok and half points go to Gemini. Let's go to the next task. This is going to be an interesting one. Now I'm asked them to create an app which can technically allow me to have a file browser in my Chrome. So the point is, that all files can be accessed using your Chrome or like any browser that you use, just because, like, file hyphen and you get there. But I want to see what do they actually come up with. Can I get an actual file browser and with some cool features? I want to see which one adds the most cool features and also looks the best, because that's my criteria. So Grok is already done, which is, I'm super surprised that it's already done. And I'm going to utilize this and paste it in the new file to see if I can just check it out. So let's see. So this is Grok's folder. Let's see. I am going to open a folder and just test it out on how it looks. I'm going to open YouTube thumbnails. So I'm going to allow this, and let's see. Click to open. No folder open. I am shocked that it did not. I even allowed it to open. Select a folder, and nothing is happening. So at least the app does not seem to be working. I don't want to debug this. Let's see what did Gemini come up with. I'm going to download the code, bring it here. Okay, open folder. Let's see, I'm going to just select a YouTube thumbnails folder. Awesome, I can at least see my thumbnails, and this is good. Like, I can even browse it, which is super cool that it finally works. But I'm just sad, like, that Grok does not seem to work. I would have really expected more. And then we have ChatGPT. So let's see, like, again, I'm going to copy the code, bring it into a file. This is how ChatGPT one looks, and honestly, this is the coolest one that I've seen till now. Like 110%. Just, I hope this works. And it's not. Like, again, is it, like, again, just not working, or is there something blocked? Done. And I'm going to refresh and technically reopen this, pick a folder. Nope, just not working. And can I see an error? If I can see an error, then it's okay. At least I know that it's the code and not me. So pick folder, there is no error. So I'm a bit surprised. Honestly, cool UI. So 110% have to give marks for that. Even if it does not work, it's fine. It's a one-shot prompt of building an app. But again, Gemini does score here. Like, again, this, like, it built in one shot in the same prompt. So again, this is really, like, again, guys, coming out for Gemini, like, 2.5. GPT gets maybe, like, again, I'll put 0.25 and make it, I don't know, like, deducting 1, it is going to be 2.25 for Gemini. And that is pretty close. Like, just from a perspective, it's super close. Now, all of you must be thinking that we are done, like Gemini just wins. Well, honestly not. This is probably one of the coolest tasks that I always do with the new models, and it's about instruction following. I'm going to ask it to explain me how did the World War II start in 5 sentences, like I'm 5 years old. And the question here is to just use 5 sentences. That's the most important part, right? Again, if it uses anything more than that, then we know that instructions are not being followed very well, and you will face issues while dealing with the model. So let's see. I'm just going to count the sentences. So 1, and then 2, and then technically 3 sentences, and 4 and 5. So Grok 100 and performs there. Gemini, I think we can just see at it and say 5 sentences. So ChatGPT, it's 1 sentence, and then 2 sentences, and 3 and 4. And I don't know, like, again, just, okay, it's probably 5. Here is 1 and 2 and 5, right? Again, so the point is, there are 5 sentences. But now let's see how the responses are. So very simply, I believe, like, again, I still like, again, very simply, that this was pretty good. Like, again, Gemini using it extremely like a 5-year-old. There is no number mentions and everything else, and which is cool. Like, just from a perspective that you're not giving any details. Though even, like, you can hit or miss on that. And here, technically, like, again, was really big. A super bossy kid named this. I'm taking everyone toys and so on. September 1st, 1939, the biggest fight ever called World War II started. Here, 110% Grok gets the best marks, because the point is, this is a much better story. This is a story which explaining it, and also you're adding the data at the end. And here, technically, like, again, I don't like this response at all, because, again, like, again, very simply, there is you are just attacking countries and everything else instead of explaining it to a 5-year-old on what does that mean, right? Again, plus the date is mentioned in the middle. So just imagine when I telling the story to a 5-year-old, they'll get confused. So here technically I have to give full marks to Grok, again 110% this goes to Grok. And instruction following is so important that I actually give 1.5 weightage to this compared to everything else. So because Grok was on 0.5, I'm going to give it make it a solid 2, right? And that's when again, the only thing that we understand from this whole test is just one, that technically GPT is not doing well compared to the other models like Gemini and Grok. And if you look at it, these scores are crazy, and we have tested them pretty much across. Even in some places where it could have done really well, it does not. And that's the answer. Gemini really stands out in programming. That's 110% there. I think still the best state of the art model is Gemini, and they're delivering on that promise over and over again. So take from that what you will. If you want to keep watching amazing comparison videos like this and learn more about AI, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm Akshat, and I would love to see you in the next one.